All right. Welcome everyone to the Cluster Addons meeting. Today is Tuesday, the 16th of February. We have a pretty short agenda. If you have anything you would like to add, please do that now. I think it's all old, I mean young, but still old faces in the call, so no, no introductions today. Yeah, last time we had a conversation about the Google Summer of Code. Somebody brought this up on the, let me just close this. Somebody brought it up on Slack, and it looks like currently we're in the stage where the CNCF applied to Google or is still applying. So we're still very, very early. So first, Google needs to approve the CNCF, and then we can propose projects. But if we have anything we would like students to work on, the earlier we note it down somewhere, the better. And so we had a couple of ideas the last time. One of them was around the manifest bundle cap. Unfortunately, we don't have Lee here today. Like I think he came up with a couple of these. We also were talking about core DNS. That's why we have Sandeep here today. And a couple of others. Do we have anyone who wants to go first? Like anything you could imagine? Yeah, super.
Yeah, I had a suggestion for I guess evaluation to see if it's something we are interested in. It's basically just a project that I kind of poked at last summer and didn't really get a chance to push it all the way through. But there is an upstream image driver, upstream CSI driver that is CSI image volume driver. And it can take the content from an image hosted in a registry and make it available as a volume. But the way it does it right now is I think it shells out and uses Podman maybe. It uses some specific separate tool that needs to be on the node that you install when you install the volume driver. And I was kind of interested in taking that driver and turning it into something that pulls images for mounting as volumes, but via CRI instead, so that if you mount an image as a volume, that just picks up all the rest of your cluster and node configuration. If you have, credentials to private registries, it can use all of those in the same exact way for pods. And I prototyped a couple things. I reached out to the maintainer and we talked through a bunch of different options. I have like a work in progress PR that's, I think, maybe the first iteration of this. I'll go ahead and link just for context. It's definitely not the final thing that we talked about, but I think we came to the conclusion that although we could make something work, there's nothing that we could make work in kind of a nice architectural way without some changes to CRI itself. So I thought an interesting project would be to sort of define those requirements and lay out the argument and go to some of the node teams and talk about what changes to CRI would be needed and make those so that you could write the image volume driver in a way that sort of made sense and didn't duplicate data and had a workflow that seemed reasonable. The reason I thought it was interesting for this context is because it seems like a thing that would be useful for manifest bundles. It would let you operate on them easily in a cluster. And it might be a good launching point to start looking at adding like OCA artifact support to CRI in the future as well.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that sounds like a good project. I think there is a risk that, Google Summer of Code contributor has to spend their time trying to persuade maintainers of the various CRIs, and it's more political than technical. I think against that risk, though, is the fact that it's not the end of the world if the various installation tools have to configure something twice. So, like maybe there's an argument that you should opt into reusing those credentials, like your image pool credentials, your default image pool credentials. So I think it's a good project, and I think it also works towards the direction of like making image registries more generally useful beyond just holding just container images. So I like it.
Cool. I mean, that's the only one that came to mind. I'm sure there's some other stuff. I wasn't. Should we just go back and watch the recording from last time to get an overview of the other ideas?
I think it was the last meeting was fairly short. Yeah, we didn't take extensive notes. No. No, I like the idea. Does anyone else have any comments? Or maybe Nick, do you have an opinion?
I only have like thoughts on implementation about that, but other than that, I think it is going to be useful in general, because the direction of most, at least the, I guess, downstream flavors of Kubernetes, the restrictions that I'm familiar with, at least from an OpenShift perspective, is that everything needs to flow through CRI. So like it's kind of restrictive when you can't play around with the metadata on images. I say OCI, I mean CRI. So like to get, there's a bunch of like layering of different things like proxy and other stuff that comes with pulling an image that is like a cluster specific configuration that you don't get if you're pulling it directly into a pod and not through CRI. So.
Cool. Yeah, I guess we can mull it over and just review it the next time again, and then start fleshing out like proper project ideas. Yeah, anything else on this idea? Or shall we talk about core DNS and add-on operator things? Justin, do you still know what we talked about in particular the last time?
Are you referring to GSOC or something else? Sorry.
Yeah, GSOC and core DNS. Let me check my notes, like, because I know Sandeep also said something on Slack. But Sandeep, you're here. Did you have some ideas? Yeah, super.
No, I actually was exploring some ideas, but there was one issue which was open in the cluster add-ons repository, but we decided that it would be better if we would do it outside of the cluster add-ons project and directly into core DNS itself. So apart from that, I do not have any other ideas. If there is time, I can still look into potential ideas. But apart from core DNS, there is one long pending issue which is open for add-on management. Is that something we could potentially have as a GSOC project? I think I can paste the issue in the chat. I think this was one of the design doc also done by Lee.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one probably goes back to, I think what we talked a little bit about last time about like what is a good GSOC project, and like is this going to be more technical or is it going to be more political? And I would say this one is probably more on the political side. I don't know if that's a problem. It feels like it's a problem, but I don't know. But it's certainly a riskier project for a GSOC participant who might not have the like depth of relationships in the community to undertake. I mean, it's a riskier project for anyone to undertake, but like so a GSOC is a fairly short time period with people that are probably new to the projects, and that's a good thing. But so in other words, we need to sort of pick a topic that is, I guess, more set up for execution and more set up for success. And I don't know how set up for success this one is, but you know, I'm in favor of doing something. I just don't know if this is this. I would consider this one a higher risk project for someone to undertake.
Okay, any other thoughts? Okay, it looks a bit like this would be, or could be, one cluster add-ons project and one core DNS project. If we decide to do both, and the others might need more hand-holding, be like larger projects. Okay. Right. Did any of you want to get anything else discussed in this meeting?
I had a few things.
Yes,
yeah. So I guess I should preface this by saying that I've recently been able to find some more time to regularly work on stuff in cluster add-ons. So hopefully I'll be able to turn things around a little bit more quickly from now on. But related were the things that I was working on earlier, which were basically taking the bundle manifest cap that Evan had got merged and sort of applying it to what we have today in terms of the kube builder declarative pattern. And so there were two pieces that came out of that, both of which I'm not very far along with, but are going to try to be soon. One is the docs. So like formally structuring the docs for cluster add-ons and adding documents for how we are going to package add-ons and distribute them. There's some stuff in declarative kube builder pattern now, but it is not like official docs. The other side of it is sort of trying to match what we have today with Evan's KEP. And the long story short of it is that, sorry, I'm fumbling with words today. The core question I have is if what we have today is more of a set of operators in kube builder declarative pattern. So there's like a set of versions that are applied, whereas the bundle KEP describes something for a single add-on. Right, I'm conflating terms here. I mean add-ons themselves. So it doesn't look like these two things will match up pretty well unless we extend Evans kept to include more than one bundle. So I just wanted to get people's thoughts on that piece. Did that make sense? That was pretty rambling.
I guess I'm not clear on the mapping issue. You're saying that the thing that we would call an add-on might be more than we'd want to put in one bundle. Is that the idea?
Yeah, so the way the bundle is structured, if I recall correctly, is that there's a manifest directory for a single thing that we want to install, which is kubectleable, and we can apply that. Whereas like the current packaging format, let's say, in terms of like the file system that the kubebuilder declarative pattern consumes, which is the thing that like actually applies the manifest, is a set of versions for an operator. So, sorry, the set of versions for an add-on. Keep conflating the terms.
I see. Yeah, I guess to me, those would either be like different artifact types, like it'd be a bundle with multiple versions in it versus a bundle with a single version in it.
Yeah,
depending on what thing is consuming it. But yeah, I think that's a good, it's worth like writing that out, I think.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if anybody had some initial like ideas on this. Like we could, you know, this could be like a composite pattern, and like a bundle could be an add-ons that an operator supports, or there could be separate artifacts where, you know, you reference these individual add-ons from something that is meant to be the container type, the aggregate over all of them. Or so I can like enumerate the options and then kind of pass them out for review later.
Yeah, I think that'd be super helpful. I think the when I was reading it, I thought it looked like you could actually put more than one package into a single image if you wanted to, and I was also imagining that the version would go into like the container or the image tag, I guess. So we wouldn't necessarily put multiple versions into one image, which is sort of more of a just like distribution thing. But I don't. That was just my. But if there are other options, and or if I'm wrong about like the way we can put multiple containers in there or multiple packages in there, then it'd be great to explore this. I'm not even sure how important it is to put multiple packages in a single container. Like it might be that we can just use a convention. So I think, but yeah, I think exploring that and making sure that we are in a good can support the use cases we need today. I think that'd be good.
Yeah, I guess my this stems from the current format being only the container. So the stuff that like kubebuilder declarative pattern uses today is a set of versions and not a single version, and it can be a single version. So making the input, this interface, it'd be nice if like those two things kind of matched, so that like we didn't have to have a different input to operators that's like, well, if you're going to take a bundle, here's a list of bundles you're going to take. Whereas if you're going to take this other packaging format that we had previously, you could do that too, which is a single artifact.
We have some of this today with the Git support, and I haven't looked in detail. I can't remember in detail about how that maps, but it doesn't necessarily, you know, like for Git, I would very much imagine that the versions would probably go to tags or branches. I could be wrong there, but like so you could imagine that the different distribution formats have their sort of native preference as to how to structure these things.
Yeah, we could separate it that way. I think as it stands today, from my reading, it was just checking out a Git repository, and in that Git repository was the package with the set of versions there. So it's like no different than just getting it from a different source. But
got it. Okay.
Well, I mean, this is what I remember on last viewing. I could be wrong.
I suspect you're right, I'm sure. But yeah, so like, but we could also support tags there as well. Like I think we need to find out how people want to use it. But I don't think it should be. I don't think we should make people. I don't think we should hobble the like image distribution format just because we happen to have started with a in pod file system format. Right, we should do whatever makes sense and is best for the image manifest format. I guess even at the expense of more complicated translation tools.
Yeah. Okay. That's really cool. That'll help me sort of draft this. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions or agenda items? All right, that was then only half a meeting. Thanks a lot, everyone. Great day, and see you in 2 weeks again.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you. Bye.